Hi students, good morning everybody. So today we are going to discuss the Williamson synthesis. So this is one of the important method for the synthesis of ethers. So ethers means it has general formula ROR. Ethers have general formula ROR. So this method is useful for the synthesis of both symmetrical ethers and also unsymmetrical ethers. So symmetrical ethers means if the both alkyl groups are similar, then it is called symmetrical ethers. Unsymmetrical ethers means if both alkyl groups are different, then it is called unsymmetrical ethers, like this ROR dash. So this alkyl group is different from this alkyl group. So this is called unsymmetrical ether. So after watching this video, you have some clear idea about this Williams synthesis and you can solve any problem based upon this named reaction. So now what is the definition of this Williamson synthesis? So here alkyl halides reacts with sodium alkoxides to produce ethers. So this is the Williamson synthesis. The alkyl halides reacts with sodium alkoxide to produce ethers. So here let us consider an alkyl halide. So the alkyl halides means Rx. It reacts with sodium alkoxides, that is RONA. So it produces ethers ROR and NaX. So here if you take CH3 here, CH3 is here, that is methyl chloride. Methyl chloride reacts with CH3ONA, sodium methoxide. It produces CH3OCH3 plus NaCl. So this is methoxymethane. Here it is called methoxymethane. So both are alkyl groups, that is both are methyl groups. So this is symmetrical ether. So if you consider different alkyl groups, that is CH3Cl plus CH3CH2ONA, that is sodium ethoxide, then it produces CH3O and C2H5, that is CH2 and CH3 plus NaCl. So this is called unsymmetrical ether. So this is symmetrical ether and this is unsymmetrical ether. So this in this way we can prepare either symmetrical ethers or unsymmetrical ethers. And here the reaction takes place through SN2 mechanism. Here the mechanism is SN2, remember carefully. So the mechanism is SN2 mechanism. So here the alkoxide ion, if you consider the mechanism, this is sodium alkoxide. The sodium alkoxide produces alkoxide ion and Na plus ion. So this alkoxide ion reacts with alkyl halide. This alkoxide ion reacts with alkyl halide. So this takes place through SN2 mechanism. So whenever the alkoxide ion approaches the alkyl halide, then the carbon will be leave out. Then it forms ROR. So in this way we can prepare ethers by SN2 mechanism. So in this way, in this method, the ethers containing substituted alkyl groups can also be prepared. Okay, so here you have to remember the mechanism will be SN2 mechanism. So in this SN2 mechanism, it takes place through single step process. So while approaching the alkoxide ion towards the alkyl halide, the halogen present on the alkyl halide will leave out and it forms ethers. So here it forms X minus ion. So the mechanism is SN2 mechanism. So this method is also applicable for the preparation of substituted alkyl groups, that is substituted alkyl groups. So let us take any ether containing substituted alkyl groups like this CH3, OCH3 and this one. So this is tertiary butyl group. So here tertiary butyl group is there and here it is methyl group. So this is substituted alkyl ether. So how this ether can be prepared? So let us discuss in detail. So this ether can be prepared by two ways. The first way is by taking this alkyl halide, that is tertiary alkyl halide, and methoxide ion, that means sodium methoxide. So let us check that way. So here if you take tertiary alkyl halide CH3 and CH3, so this tertiary alkyl halide reacts with alkoxide, that is CH3O minus. So whenever this CH3O minus approaches to this tertiary alkyl carbon, it leave out Cl minus, then it forms CH3O and CH3. This is one way, and in another way we can prepare this one, that is by taking primary alkyl halide, that is CH3Cl and tertiary alkoxide ion. This is tertiary alkoxide ion. So this tertiary alkoxide ion reacts with primary alkyl halide CH3Br or CH3Cl, whatever we can take. So here we can take Br, then it produces CH3 and O. Whenever this alkoxide ion approaches to this carbon, this Br minus will leave out, so then it produces CH3 and plus Br minus, here also plus Br minus. So in these two ways we can prepare this ether. Okay, so which is the best method for the preparation of ethers? So here you have to remember one point. Here it involves tertiary alkyl halide, here it is primary alkyl halide. So SN2 reaction is more preferable in case of primary alkyl halides. That's why this reaction is feasible reaction. That means we can prepare this ether by using this method. So we can't prepare this ether by using this, that is from tertiary alkyl halides. So by using this tertiary alkyl halide we cannot prepare these ethers, because here this tertiary alkyl halides are more reactive. That's why it involves in elimination reaction. Here elimination reaction predominates than SN2 reaction. Here SN2 reaction does not take place, here elimination reaction predominates. So this elimination takes place in presence of this nucleophile. Here this is a nucleophile, generally it should involve in nucleophilic substitution reaction, but under this condition this nucleophile behaves as a base. Here it behaves as a base and it abstracts a proton here, so it forms eliminated product like this. Here it abstracts one proton here, H plus. So after leaving this H plus, this Br minus can be eliminated by elimination reaction to produce alkene. So here E2 is the predominated product than this one. So ethers cannot be prepared from this tertiary alkyl halides. Okay. From these two reactions we can observe what is here the SN2 reaction takes place in case of primary alkyl halides. So in case of tertiary alkyl halides it does not involve in SN2 reaction, but it involves in E2 reaction. Okay, so the product will be eliminated product. So elimination reaction takes place in case of tertiary alkyl halides, but in case of primary alkyl halides it undergoes substitution reactions, that is nucleophilic substitution reaction, and here it is SN2 reaction. So in this reaction it acts as nucleophile. The alkoxide ion acts as nucleophile here. Remember carefully, here in this case the alkoxide ion acts as nucleophile, but in this case the alkoxide ion acts as base, and here it is a strong base. So in presence of this strong base it gives E2 reaction, that is E2 product. Okay, clear? And next, move on to next examples. So from these examples we have understand that primary alkyl halides produces SN2 product, whereas the tertiary alkyl halides produces E2 product. Then what about secondary alkyl halides? What about secondary alkyl halides? Okay, the primary alkyl halides produces SN2 product, whereas the tertiary alkyl halides produces E2 product. Then what about the secondary alkyl halide? So let us consider an example with secondary alkyl halide. This is the secondary alkyl halide. So this secondary alkyl halide reacts with alkoxide ion, that is sodium ethoxide. So does this reaction happens or not? Let us check. So if this reaction happens, the product formed will be like this. So this alkoxide ion O minus will approaches the secondary carbon and it leave out Cl minus ion. So if this reaction is supposed to happen, the product will be like this, but the reaction does not happens because, so in this there is a steric crowding is there. So due to presence of this steric crowding, in this we cannot prepare these ethers. Okay. So due to steric corrodance, there is the ether cannot be prepared by using this Williamson synthesis. Now let us discuss some more examples, that is CH2 double bond CH and O, CH and CH2. So this ether, so can we prepare this ether or not? This ether also cannot be prepared by using this Williamson synthesis, because here there is an sp2 carbon. At sp2 carbon, the SN2 reaction does not involve in reaction, that is the SN2 product is not formed. Okay. So here this ether cannot be prepared because here it is sp2 carbon. Here it is a secondary alkyl halide. So from this secondary alkyl halide we cannot prepare this ether. So in this way we can't prepare the ethers containing secondary alkyl group, that is isopropyl group. Similarly, tertiary butyl group also, the ethers containing tertiary butyl group also cannot be prepared by this method. So due to steric crowdance, these cannot be prepared. So suppose if there is any tertiary alkyl group and another one is secondary alkyl group, so this can also not be prepared by Williamson synthesis. And next, let us take this example. So here is also some steric crowdance is there. So can we prepare this ether or not? Let us check for preparation of this one. Okay. So can we prepare this ether or not? So this ether can be prepared again by using different methods. So what are they? So by taking tertiary alkyl halide and phenoxide ion. By taking tertiary alkyl halide and phenoxide ion, so it can produce ethers. So does it produce ethers by SN2 reaction or not? So no, here due to steric hindrance. So here alkoxide ion should approaches the tertiary carbon to leave out the Cl minus. So this is not possible due to steric crowdance. So here there is no SN2 product. No SN2 product. And let us check another way. So by taking tertiary alkoxide ion and chlorobenzene. So here the alkoxide ion should approaches this carbon. So this carbon is nothing but sp2 carbon. So the carbon present on benzene. So here it is an sp2 carbon. So that's why at sp2 carbon the SN2 reaction does not takes place. So no SN2 product is formed here. So here due to these two reasons we cannot prepare this one. This ether cannot be prepared. Remember carefully, this ether cannot be prepared by using Williamson synthesis. Okay. So the first one is here due to steric hindrance there is no SN2 product. Here it is tertiary alkyl halide. At tertiary alkyl halide there is no SN2 product. Here at sp2 carbon there is no SN2 product. So that's why this ether cannot be prepared by using Williamson synthesis. Now let us check some more examples. The next one, if two phenyl groups are there, this one, so can we prepare this or not? So here generally it cannot prepared by this Williamson synthesis, because here it is an aromatic ring, here also an aromatic ring. So here it is an sp2 carbon, here also sp2 carbon. So that's why we cannot prepare this by using Williamson synthesis, but it can be prepared indirectly by using aromatic SN2 reaction, that is AR SN2 reaction. So let us have a look on this mechanism. So this can be prepared by AR SN2 reaction indirectly, by indirect reaction. So that is, first we have to prepare this compound, that is nitro substituted product. So first we have to prepare this compound. From this compound we can easily prepare this one, that is indirect method. So let us move on to the preparation of this ether. So from this one, so first we have to prepare this molecule. So that is, this molecule can be prepared by taking this one phenoxide ion. This phenoxide ion reacts with para-nitrochlorobenzene. So since it consists of an electron withdrawing group at the para position, this molecule will involve in SN2 reaction, that is aromatic SN2 reaction. So generally chlorobenzene does not involve in SN2 reaction due to sp2 carbon. Here it is sp2 carbon. So that's why chlorobenzene does not involve in SN2 reaction. So whenever the para position is substituted with electron withdrawing group, then here AR-SN2 reaction takes place. So here AR-SN2 reaction takes place. That's why this nucleophile can approach this carbon and this chlorine will leave out. Then we can produce this one, para-nitro product. So this para-nitro product can be converted into this NO2 can be replaced by H by using the sequence of reactions. First we have to reduce this one. NO2 can be reduced by using tin and HCl. So it produces NH2. This NH2 can be converted to H by using HN2 by treating with NaNO2 and HCl, NaNO2 HCl or HNO2. So by treating with, we can produce N2 plus ion. Here it converted to N2 plus. So again this will be converted to, this nitrogen can be eliminated by using H3PO2. So by using H3PO2 we can eliminate this nitrogen gas and we can prepare ether, okay, diphenyl ether. So this diphenyl ether can be prepared in this way indirectly, but we can't prepare directly by using 2 phenyl molecules, okay. So in this way the diphenyl ether can be prepared indirectly. The diphenyl ether cannot be prepared directly by Williamson synthesis, but this diphenyl ether can be prepared by preparing para-nitro diphenyl ether. Para-nitro diphenyl ether, first we have to prepare this para-nitro diphenyl ether by using AR-SN2 reaction. Here it is AR-SN2 reaction. Then we convert into diphenyl ether, okay. And now let us consider another example, that is, so can we prepare this ether or not? This is also another phenyl group. So can we prepare this ether or not? Let us check. So let us consider this is alkoxide ion, this is phenoxide ion. So here it is phenoxide ion. This phenoxide ion reacts with benzyl chloride. If you take benzyl chloride, we can prepare this ether. So that's why. So this alkoxide ion can easily react with this benzyl chloride because here it is sp3 carbon. So at sp3 carbon, SN2 reaction is possible. That is at primary alkyl halide. This is a primary alkyl halide. That's why it involves in SN2 reaction. So SN2 product is predominated here. So this ether can be prepared by Williamson synthesis. And next one. Now let us check for another product. So can we prepare this one or not? This one. So this ether can be prepared or not? So this ether can be prepared by taking, this is alkyl halide derivative and this is alkoxide derivative. So that means here we can prepare like this. This is phenoxide ion. So this phenoxide ion reacts with, this is cyclic chloro derivative, that is chlorocyclohexane. Chlorocyclohexane. So here the chlorocyclohexane, this carbon is sp2 carbon. So this alkoxide ion reacts with this sp2 carbon and this Cl minus ion can easily leave out and it involves in SN2 reaction. Then it produces this product, okay. We can prepare this product. So here it involves in SN2 reaction. So here this alkyl halide is a secondary alkyl halide. So here this alkyl halide is a secondary alkyl halide. Even though it is a secondary alkyl halide, it involves in SN2 reaction. How it is possible? Let us check. So generally primary alkyl halides involves in SN2 reaction, whereas tertiary alkyl halides involves in E2 reaction. But secondary alkyl halide, here it is a secondary alkyl halide. So in this secondary alkyl halide, if it is a weak base, then the reaction will be proceeded. Remember carefully. So in case of secondary alkyl halide, if the base is a weak base, then it proceeds through SN2 mechanism. Here it is does not reacts as nucleophile. If it behaves as a base, then it involves in SN2 reaction. So since it is a weak base, it produces this ether, and this ether can be again converted into aromatic compound simply by aromatization. Aromatization can be done by using palladium and carbon, or sulfur or selenium. Aromatization takes place, so we can prepare this ether. Okay, so first this reaction happens. How does this reaction happens? Let us check. This is a secondary alkyl halide. Generally at secondary alkyl halide, that is at sp2 carbon, this SN2 reaction does not happens, but this happens. How this happens? Let us check. So this is a feasible reaction because in presence of a weak base, the SN2 reaction takes place. Okay, clear? We have to remember, in presence of weak base, the SN2 reaction takes place. So here it is a weak base, isn't it? It is a weak base because this base is obtained from this, which one? This is phenol. So from this phenol we get a base. This is the conjugate base of this phenol. So this phenol is generally acidic, so strong acid when compared with this one. That's why it is a weak base. Phenol is acidic in nature, that's why the conjugate base of this is a weak base. Okay, so in presence of this weak base, SN2 is predominated. So in case of secondary alkyl halides, we have to check whether the base is weak base or not. So let us consider some more examples like this. So if you take CH3CO O-, so this is also weak base. This can also react with secondary alkyl halide to produce the product like this. So here the product is like this. So here it involves in SN2 reaction. This approaches to this one, Cl- will leave out. And let us take another example, that is CH3 CH2 O-. This reacts with alkyl halide. Does this reaction takes place or not? Here it is a strong base. Here it is a strong base. Okay, here it is a weak base, but it is a strong base. In presence of strong base, E2 takes place. SN2 does not takes place, E2 takes place. So the product will be like this. Here elimination takes place. Cl and H, from here we get a double bond, that is alkene is formed. So here elimination reaction takes place. Okay, so here also the phenoxide ion is there. So in presence of phenoxide ion, or in presence of acetate ion, or in presence of this is strong base. So these weak bases. So let us consider some more weak bases. So the weak bases are, this is acetate ion, phenoxide ion, and also some iodine, I- ion, NO3 minus, and Cn minus, and azide, N3 minus, and HSO4 minus. All these are weak bases because these are obtained from the strong acids. So these are the conjugate bases of strong acids. That's why all these are weak bases. So in presence of any one of these weak bases, SN2 reaction takes place at, even though it is a secondary alkyl halide. Okay, clear? And now let us move on to the preparation of cyclic ethers. So the cyclic ethers can also be prepared by using this Williamson synthesis simply by this reaction. So here it is, let us consider a molecule like this. So this reacts with sodium hydride to produce alkoxide ion like this, O-, and halogen is here. So now here it involves in SN2 reaction, that is intramolecular SN2 reaction. So by attacking of this nucleophile, here this chlorine will leave out. So here it takes place intramolecular SN2 reaction to produce cyclic compound. So this is called cyclic ether. So this cyclic ether is called oxirane. This is called oxirane. Okay, so this reaction is called intramolecular Williamson synthesis. Intramolecular Williamson synthesis. So this Williamson synthesis produces cyclic ethers. So here it is an intramolecular SN2 reaction also. So suppose if you increase the homologous series like this by increasing carbon, one more carbon is here. Here only 2 carbons are there, but here 3 carbons are there. If you increase the number of carbons, we can increase the cyclic member also. So here we can produce 4-membered ring. So this is called oxetane. This is oxetane. So again by increasing another homologous series, we can prepare 5-membered ring, that is called oxolane. This is oxolane. And the 6-membered ring is called, this is called oxane. So in this way we can prepare cyclic ethers by using intramolecular SN2 reaction. Okay, so by increasing the homologous series we can prepare these oxanes. So from this reaction you have to remember, from this Williamson synthesis you have to remember few points, that is this reaction takes place through SN2 mechanism, and if the alkyl halide is primary alkyl halide, then it proceeds through SN2 mechanism. If the alkyl halide is tertiary alkyl halide, then it proceeds through E2 mechanism. If the alkyl halide is secondary alkyl halide, then we have to check the strength of the base. We have to check the strength of the base. If the basic character increases, we have to remember this point. If the basic character increases, then E2 predominates than SN2. E2 predominates than SN2. Okay, if the basic character increases, then E2 predominates than SN2. So E2 reaction takes place by increasing basic character. Okay, remember all these points carefully. Okay, I hope you like this video. For getting more videos like this, please subscribe my channel and tap the bell icon. Thank you. And here is a small question for you. Please answer the question in comment box. So now the question is, what are the functional isomers of ethers? So what are the functional isomers of ethers? So here it is a question. So please comment the answer in comment box. What are the functional isomers of ethers? Thank you.